In my school, we have actually three officers and multiple security guards. In the morning, we have a check where we go through the metal detectors and the security guards check our bags. I feel safe in our school because my community, there's been a lot of killings, and once you're in school from 8:35 to 2:40, that's where I feel safe at. And outside of my community, I feel unsafe because of so much killings that's been going on.
Any of you guys have a response to that idea that actually for Mina, those guards make her feel safer?
I do understand that, in fact, but I also wonder how there are certain kids in the school who emotionally, going back to that, don't feel safe. Now, with guards, you do prevent people from coming into the school, but what about the kids who are, in fact, inside the school who don't feel safe because of their peers bullying them and making them feel like they don't belong there, in fact?
I also would like to add to that. Oftentimes in schools, in other sides of in certain parts of Chicago, primarily the south side, there are instances where the police officers and security guards are actually abusing the students. So how does that, these people are there to protect us, but rather what they are is damaging the school, they're damaging the environment, and that truly is not safety.
Crystal, you have a student.
I have Jordan here. He's also from the city of Newark, and he is the student representative on the Newark Advisory Board, so representing 40,000 Newark students.
So going to school in Newark, you get the sense that Newark Public Schools are taking a number of initiatives. They have a number of resources available to try to increase student safety and create a climate where students feel they are safe and they don't have to worry about their health. They could just focus on their studies. But still, students know that in truth, after school, there's a number of concerns. You have to worry about, are you going to get robbed? Are you going to get jumped? What's going to happen to my possessions? Should I wear these sneakers after school? Because if I walk out, are they going to get stolen from me? And it's a really overwhelming experience simply because now you have to worry about what's going on outside the building. You have to worry about the robberies, but then you also have to worry about the hazards inside the building with metal detectors and your book bag being searched and guards. So it just goes to show that safety is such a central concern because although there is technology and resources available, and that's important too, it's just such an overwhelming experience, and sometimes it's difficult to take advantage of all of that when your health is constantly on your mind.
Jordan, I want to ask you a real quick follow-up on that. I know that you actually talk to students in schools across Newark. Do they have the solutions? Have you heard one or two that you'd say, this is the kind of thing we need to be implementing?
Just more security, but not in the building, because that you almost get a feeling of criminalization when you have so many armed guards and security and metal detectors in the building. You almost get the feeling of, wait a second, I'm the victim here. I need to worry about my health, not what's going on with me and what I have in my book bag. So a number of concerns have been brought up about increasing security outside the building because, as I said, that's where the majority of the things go on. I know that in 1 week last year, I had 2 of my friends and my brother actually almost got robbed right outside the school building. So their ideas tend to be just armed guards outside the building to try to stop that from happening.
Thank you, Jordan. And Mara, you are with a student who was in a very similar circumstance very recently.
Yeah, this is Ma'asia Clark. She is a sophomore in Brooklyn, and you recently witnessed a shooting on your way home from school. Is that correct?
Yes. I was coming home from school and I was on a bus and I got off, and like as soon as I got off they was shooting, and it's like it's not the first time that has ever happened in my neighborhood, but it just doesn't make me feel safe to come and go to school because I feel like at any given moment my life can be taken away, and like the NYPD won't have any justice because they're never around.
And this is not an isolated issue. Crystal, you were standing there with a student with a not dissimilar story.
I have Malin here.
Hello, my name is Malin, and considering the fact that in New York City schools, bullying is becoming a socially accepted norm, what can schools do specifically in order to prevent that?
Well, I know for a fact in my school when there was a problem with bullying, a lot of the principals or whoever was in charge would almost kind of blame everyone. So I think that was one of the main problems, and what at least I tried doing was really finding ways to spread awareness and tell parents that, you know what, this is actually going on with their kids, how they can talk to their kids without their kids feeling like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm being interrogated by my own parents. So it's really building trust between the school, between parents, between students, and building that safety, and that you can actually talk about, hey, I feel like I'm being bullied in this situation, I don't feel safe in school, I can't concentrate, and having the feeling that you can actually talk to someone in your school and talk to your parents. I think that's one of the main things that schools need to focus on, is building that trust.
So speaking of building trust, that sense of bullying, I want to go back. Crystal, I know you have one other student there who's got a story very similar to the story that we heard earlier.
I do.
Yeah, well, I go to Information Technology High School, and my school had an incident where a rival school, I guess you can say, came to our school and didn't care who they could have hurt. They just came with knives and bats and stuff, and with intentions to hurt people. But actually, I would like to say that the police and our school reacted really well to it, to the point where in a matter of seconds, it was a matter of minutes actually, it was pretty much over with, and nobody actually got hurt. But the risk was still there, so I think they handled it pretty well.
So at this point, we've heard stories of actually witnessing shootings, of being threatened both within your own school in the context of bullying, but also in this case of a rival school coming. Is there, and we have almost out of time here, but is there one thing that we need to take away from this sense of insecurity in schools that is beyond the question of armed guards for generating safety or a sense of security? It's a tough question.
Well, I think there's a correlation between when we've been talking about the criminalization in schools and then the bullying in schools. We can either choose to try to stop violence by having external solutions, put more guards in the school, but that only creates more of a sense of I'm a criminal, I'm going here because I'm a criminal, this is an unsafe environment. Or we can try to change the attitudes of the children. We can make it a safe, emotional place for them to go and feel safe. And if we can change the environment, not through armed guards, but by having a sense of camaraderie and by having a sense of safety, then I think many of these violent acts will stop.
And my thanks to Dennis, Tiffany, Ross, and Israel. And up next, bold new look at how education in other countries compares to the U.S. We're going to hear from students who saw the differences firsthand.